Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Start of a brand new week. Let's go over here and go live too. How are you all this morning? Happy Monday. Happy Wealthy Monday. Start of a wealthy week. Where is everyone this morning? So I have been getting ready for our Wealth Ascension Collective. We start today. Today is day one of 90 days. And this group has such amazing all things in alignment for them. When we did our call, it was the first day of spring. And then today is a lunar eclipse, the 25th. And it's like, oh my gosh, this group has all that exists in just rolling around in their favor. And I'm so excited. So everyone, here we go. All right. Happy Monday. Happy start of a brand new week. This morning, we're going to talk real quick around your magic bank account. I know I named this my magic bank account just to tell you my story, but the intention this morning is to share with you just, how we can have some fun and for you to create your own magic bank account. I saw so many people like, oh yeah, I'm there for this one. I want to hear, how do we do this? So I see that you're all here. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Big hearts to everyone. And I want to start off with a couple questions. So for those of you that are here so far, can you type in the comments and let me know, how often do you check your bank account? How often do you check your bank account? Let me know. My wonderful husband wakes up every morning, and that is the first thing he does. He checks every single bank account that he has. But I want to hear from you. How many times do you check your bank account? How often do you check your bank account? Do you do it daily, weekly, monthly, on an as needed basis? Tell me. I check daily. I see several times, every day, several times. All right. I see a lot of you here watching. So let me know. Once a week, though I need to check it more. Okay. 3 times a week, 3 times a week, once a week. All right. As needed, as needed. Okay. When I am going to pay once a month. Awesome. All right. So I check weekly. So I see a lot of weeklies, and every now and then I'll see on an as needed basis or a few times. So what are you looking for when you do check it? What are you looking for? What's the first thing that you give your attention to, or what's the thing you give your attention to the most? No matter how often you check your bank account, what is it? Just think back. I open up my bank account, and what is the thing I look at first, or the thing that I'm looking for when I go check my bank account? When you check your bank account, what are you looking for? I'm looking at the balance. Okay. All right, everyone, there's lots of you here. How much money I have in it? Okay, let's go. So the balance, inaccurate transactions. If there have been any inaccurate transactions, all right, I love it. To see how much is there, the balance. So I see the pay bills and get off. I love it. Deposits, the balance, to see how much is there. Okay. Deanna says, I'm reminded of the money flow. So the balance and transactions, you're looking at, right, the balance and transactions. So I know this to be true. And I've been working with women for what? Going on 12 years now. And one of the things that we always have to work through is the dreaded fear of checking the bank balance. And I know that I can confidently say most people, and you all said it here, most people go in and you're looking at the balance, and think about the energy of the balance. The balance is what's left. I'm looking to see what's left. Many people, when you do this, what you're doing is you're either looking for what's left, or like you said, you're looking at the transactions, but you're looking at what's going out. Not too many people said, this is you saying it, not too many people said, I'm actually looking to see how many deposits. And the reason, logically, just think about this, is that most times we know, we have money going in a set time of the month, or if you get paid, you know exactly how much is going in on a weekly, monthly basis. So you're not really giving your attention to the deposits. You're more looking at what's left, and did all my transactions, did everything I needed to pay get cleared, right? So the energy is I'm looking for what has gone away from me, and I'm looking at what's left for me. And so I want you to just I want you to just think about this for a second, because what you have done is programmed yourself in such a way to look at your money in the energy of, let me see what's left, let me see what's gone out. And what you focus on expands. You get what you expect, right? And so I realized that I was doing this. And I decided it doesn't feel very amazing for me to go check my bank account, the source of my, well, no, I'm sorry, let me reframe, because the source of my abundance is God. Let me go check my bank account. This place where my abundance accumulates as a channel, one of the channels, one of the ways that abundance flows to me and from me. And let me go check it, this powerful container, to see what's left and what's going out. And every now and then, probably last on the list, and I'm just being honest with you, and I think you've been honest with me, when I look in order, I'm looking at what's left, what's gone out, and then last on the list, I'm looking at what came in, right? So I want to bring your awareness. I just want you to bring your awareness to that, because this spiritual law says what you focus on expands. And if our focus is set, and if we're programmed to look for what's left, the balance, or what's going out, our transactions, we're always going to see a lot of that. So this morning, we want to just have some fun and play. And I want to share with you how you can turn your bank account into a magical bank account. And I think you all remember the story of the man in the Arabian Nights with the magic purse. As money came in, it went back. As money went out, it piled back in. As money went out, it piled back in. That's the concept of where we're going to go this morning. And I'm just going to give you some fun ways to play with this. And, you know, everything that I share with you, it sounds nice and it sounds fun, but it really takes effect when you do it. That's really where the rubber meets the road. Is the implementation is the thing that gives you the results. And this is not a one and done. It's not a let me do it one day. It's actually, it involves a lot of discipline to change your outlook, to change your mind, to change your patterned behavior. Think about how many years you have been wired to go look at your bank account, to look at the balance. Think about how many years you've been wired to look with the dread of, oh my gosh, what's left? How much is there? Did everything clear? So I want you, that's right. I want you to think about, um, okay. I see people messaging me in the chat. Sorry, I just got a little distracted. So I want to give you some of the fun things that I do and some of the spiritual laws around why I do it. The first one is, let's talk about the law of assumption. This is something that I strongly stand behind and believe and use as a practice. I approach most things in business, and especially my bank account, as assuming, I come from the place of assuming that I always have a constantly replenishing and ever increasing bank account. The thing that happens when you have that assumption is that, you know how you have that fear of paying your bills, for example. Well, if you assume that as money goes out, it's going to come back in, then the fear of paying your bills, or the hoarding, or the scarcity, it has to go away. But you have to live from that assumption. And that's why I say you can't just do this today and then you're going to have a magic bank account. You have to literally decide, this is who I am. I live from the assumption that I live from the assumption that I have a bank account that is always replenishing, ever increasing. Can you all type that? My bank account is always replenishing and ever increasing. As money goes out, it comes back in multiple fold. Okay, let me see. Come on, you all type that in the. I feel like sometimes what I'm saying is delayed in the chat, but go ahead and, yeah, Rhonda says, I live from God's overflow, the law of assumption. Repeat. My bank account, my bank account is ever replenishing and always increasing. My bank account is always replenishing and always increasing. That's a really great way to say it too. All right, there you go. And so it's an assumption. It's not just a cute thing to say. It's I live from the assumption. And I want you to think if you assume that to be true of you and your bank account, then how do you handle payments? How do you handle um, concerns about money? If you operate from that assumption that as you send money out it's going to come in, your whole energy, thought flow, everything changes when it comes to the dreaded outgoing outgoing payments, right? I have a bank account that is always replenishing and always increasing. um, the other thing about every every receiving the manifestation of any desire is that it begins with an ask. You have to make your ask when it comes to your bank account a declaration. Every dollar I spend is multiplied and returned to me. Every dollar I spend is multiplied and returned to me. Deposits are always more than my withdrawals. This is a declaration. This is how I've turned my bank account into a magic bank account. all of my all of my deposits are always more than my withdrawals. Everyday money is deposited into my account. That is an ask. Everyday money is deposited into my account because what we or I'll say what I realized was when I was going to my bank account every day to look at what was left and to look at the transactions that were going out, subconsciously I was powerfully asking for more of that. I was asking, let me always just see what's left for me. Let me always just see all the things that are going out and do I have enough to cover it. You don't think you didn't journal that. Right? You're not journaling. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm manifesting that all my withdrawals clear. You're not consciously thinking that you're asking for that, but you are when you go and you look several times a week, several times a day. That's a powerful and not even a conscious ask. It's a powerful subconscious ask. And so I've turned my ask around my bank account into powerful declarations. Every day I wake up, there's money deposited. Every day, my outgoing payments are exceeded by my deposits. I'm sorry, my deposits exceed my outgoing payments, right? So it's every dollar I spend is multiplied and returned to me. That's right. Every dollar I spend is multiplied and returned to me. That is just a powerful thing. But one of the things that I think really serves me is I wake up every day or before I go to bed, I have the expectation that money will be deposited into my bank account every single day. And so, especially people who are accustomed to getting paid weekly or monthly, you have your mind limited by, I'm only going to have a deposit once a month. Well, what if you changed it? I love having deposits every day. Who knows? You could get refunds, you could get returns, you could get unexpected money. It's just you switch your expectation from I am only counting on the set way I know money can be deposited into my bank account, and I'm open to all the ways that God, universe, source chooses to have deposits go into my account. And here's the thing. Yes, I'm getting deposits and they exceed my withdrawals every day. That's right. Every day I wake up, I love having deposits every day. I love that, Nikki. I love having deposits every day. Um, and then the other thing about creating a magic bank account is that you have to act in faith. So, one of the things that I remember early on my journey, I would go when it was my time of the month, I would go in fear of paying my bills. I literally had like, oh my gosh. And so, because I went with this fear, even when I had the money to pay the bills, I would pay less than the amount was due just because I was like, well, let me leave enough. Let me leave enough. So, I'm not even going to pay the total amount that's due, but I'm going to carry this energy of faith, of fear with the payment, and I'm going to pay what as little as I can so I still keep enough in my bank account. And that's such an act of fear. So I have switched treating my bank account and my money with faith. And so I pay my bills as if, back to the law of assumption, I pay my bills as if the money is there to pay them. And there are some times when I'm paying the bills, and based on the way the money flows, it makes no sense, right? To you watching, it'd be like, Tasha, you're literally wiping out your account to pay these bills. What happens if something happens tomorrow? And I'm like, well, tomorrow when I wake up, there will be more deposits in my account than what I just paid. That is an assumption that is activated by my faith when I go to handle money. So oh, Shanika says this is I just looked at my bank account. I needed to hear this. So, acts of faith is paying your bills as if the money is there to pay them, viewing the pain of your bills. I used to be so scared of paying my bills that I literally was so proud of myself. I scheduled my bills for once a month just so I wouldn't have to look at it. I think somebody said I just go in there one time a month, pay my bills and get out. And that's your money, your abundance needs more energy. Imagine if you were married and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go see my husband once a month. I'm going to check if he's good. You're good. I'm good. All right. See ya next month. Right. So I realized that's what I was doing. But the true, when I dug and dug and dug and dug, the true reason why I was doing it was I was just in fear around handling these bills and feeling like there was going to be enough money. And you've heard me say it. I've proudly told you. Well, I've gotten into really switching my energy around that and taking it out, watching where I act in fear and switching to acting in faith with my money. So, one of the things that I encourage my clients to do is to schedule your payments. I remember my daughter going to University of Miami and they were like telling me how much it costs per semester. I can't even tell you. Just put it this way, I could have bought a house to send that kid to college. And so I remember how much they told me and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have no idea how I'm going to pay that. But do you have a payment plan? They're like, yes. I go, set me up. I for sure know I can pay the first month. Set it up on auto pay. I told Vicky recently, set it and forget it. And that was my act of faith. It was set on auto pay. And because I just was like, the money's going to be there. The money's going to be there every single month. Her school fee, right? The tuition got paid. I'm looking back and I'm like, gosh, I wonder how the money flowed, where it came from. I don't know, but my act of faith was the scheduling of the payment. How can you, and maybe I'm not telling you to do that because I know this is not like, you're not going to hear this conversation and go do this whole magical thing with your finances and just like act in faith. You're going to be scared for a little while. And I get that. But ask yourself, what is the smallest act of faith that you can begin to take? And maybe it's that you have large outstanding balances and it feels very scary to pay the full amount each month. But I want to share with you another little simple way that you can act in faith. Pay what you can afford and then try this every single day. Send $5, send $10. Literally make yourself be in the habit of sending. It doesn't matter how much, it doesn't matter how small, but make yourself be in the habit of sending a little bit extra with the powerful intention that your desire is to reduce your balance and watch what happens. So sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, this credit card balance, oh my gosh, right? And I'm like, instead of like looking at that in constant fear, I'm just going to send a little bit of money every day I go into my bank account. I pay my credit card a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit down for my business, right? So I want you to think, I want you to think that I want you to think about what are some of the ways that you can start to act in faith. And then the last one is the law of accumulation. This is the law that says, my supply is God. My supply is not my bank account. My supply is not even the money in my bank account. Money is not my supply. My supply is God. Some of you will say your supply is the universe, your supply is source. When you think of the universe as the source of your supply, when you think of God as the source of your supply, that is infinite. Your bank account is a fraction, is a nothingness in comparison to the infinite supply. And so I don't go to my bank account and treat it with limitation. I go to my bank account and go, the thing that's funding this, the supply, where the supply comes from for this is infinite. So I'm going to act like that. And the law of assumption says that money just pours in and piles up. It pours in and piles up. The law of accumulation. So, how can you apply that law to how you treat your bank account? How can you apply that law? Think about what is, and that was a game changer for me. Many of us think of our bank accounts as the source of our wealth or the source of the money that we have available, or you think of your money as your supply, like it's my work that generates this money that gets deposited into my bank account. I had to totally erase that from my mind. And I was telling one of my goddesses this weekend, I made God my CFO, and I look at my bank account as how God gives me money to play with, right? It's just like, this is just one of the ways that I accumulate money as abundance, because I also have love as abundance. I have health in abundance. So this one way, money is through my bank accounts, and God's like, here, this is how you get to play with it. Play with the flow, in and out. Just have fun. Your job is to manage it, play with it, do well with it. My job is to fund it, right? So that created a whole separate mindset for me, and separation from the weightedness, the fear, and the worry of my effort and my work being the thing that funds my bank account. It also helped me step out of, will there be enough when I pay these bills? Will there be enough? Will there be enough? Will there be enough? I'm like, well, if you're asking that question and you have separated from the source that fills this bank account, right? So that is a question that I'm always really just trying to analyze whenever I sense or feel myself in any type of money fear. All right. I hope that helps you. So, number one, the law of assumption. You want to have a magical bank account. The law of assumption says assume that your bank account is full and will always be full. Act like that all the time when you're dealing with your bank account. Instead of looking at what the balance is and how much is gone, doesn't matter. Look at the assumption that it's always going to be more than enough. Operate from my bank account is always going to have more than enough. Make your ask when you're dealing with your bank account, make your ask a declaration, something really powerful, like every dollar I spend is multiplied and returned to me. My deposits always exceeds my withdrawals. Make a powerful declaration. Every day money is deposited into my account. That's something that I have used and just owned. And every night, actually, for me in my business in Stripe, that you get an email every night that tells you about money being deposited in your account. It's like my favorite thing. I'm like, see, I said it. Every day, money gets deposited into my account. It's not big numbers all the time. There are some times when I think last night, one of the emails I got was $91. But you know what? It made my declaration is true. Every day, money gets deposited into my bank account. Act in faith. Act in faith. You want to have a magic purse, you have to, a magic bank account, you have to take acts of faith. And so that is doing things as simple as, you have a balance, start paying, just sending little extra amounts every single day. Watch as the power of your intention, which is to reduce that balance, gets activated by you sending a little extra. And then live from the law of accumulation. As money, God is your supply, and as money flows in, it piles up. Just flows in and piles up. Okay. That's right, the law of assumption. It's full with more to come, more than enough. All right, ladies, every day money gets deposited into my account. I love it. I love sharing these with you. I want you to just remember that this only becomes powerful if you apply them, if you implement them. This, for me, I don't know about you, but I don't like feeling fear. I don't like feeling anxious around money. I don't like worrying if there's going to be enough. I like repel all of that. I want to come from a state of assuming there is always more than enough. Everything's going to get taken care of. And the source of my abundance, my money, my wealth is infinite. I love that. That makes me feel at ease and peaceful. And it is worth doing the things that I have told you all to do so that I can have that constant state. It doesn't mean I don't, I'm not human and I don't go back there. but I would rather do the work so that 29 out of 30 days I'm at peace financially. And then when I have a human moment, I just have a human moment. Okay. 4 pages of notes. I love it. So I love that you took 4 pages of notes, but what I want you to decide is which of these am I going to truly, fully commit to implementing? And just even if you just choose one, that's enough. You don't have to do them all. This is not about perfection, it's about progress. So which one will you choose? Tell me, of the ones that I shared with you, which one will you choose to implement fully with your whole being? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear. I'm waiting for you all. And the other thing, that's right. Carlene says, I don't like to worry about money. I don't like to worry about money, anything. Every day, money gets deposited into my account. Camille, type it out. I know you said one. Jackie says, I do all of them. Jackie, you're just a superstar. All right, come on. Acts of faith. Jackie, but you know what? I'm going to challenge you because Jackie, you are amazing and you are committed to your manifestation like no other. And I know you desire more. So I am going to challenge you as much as you do all of them. Which one of them could you like up the ante? Choose one. Which one? To choose something, Jackie, that would scare you. Like maybe you're like, you know what? I always have, but there's this thing I'm going to go, and I don't want to encourage anybody to spend. I'm speaking only to Jackie because I know where Jackie is on her manifestation journey and I know she is like elevated. So Jackie, maybe it's like, I'm going to go and there's something I have wanted to invest in. You know, you always have this project for single homes, for families. Maybe you go look at a place in, I don't know, Fort Pierce, downtown Stewart, somewhere where you can take a crazy act of faith and buy one, buy a property, right? So something like that. Jackie, stretch yourself. You do all of them and you are amazing. And for everybody else that's like, I'm doing all these and I'm doing really good. Well, how can you stretch yourself? Because that's why we're here. The conversation is always ever expanding. There we go. Jackie, such a good student. All right, ladies. So listen, I have a question for you. I have been thinking, talking, and working with my team. You know, we just finished for the new Wealth Ascension Collective that started recently. Today is day 1 of 90. But one of the things that we do before we start is we do a money trauma healing masterclass. So we looked at all of our money traumas and we really did the healing work. You probably saw them post, I am healed. And it made me watch how much that really supported the ladies before we began the program. And also realize that for me and so many others, we have money stories that we're telling ourselves, including the traumas cause us to tell ourselves a story that we are living by. This is me. My story is da 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 when it comes to money. And so I'm just curious if I were to do a money makeover, money story makeover, like really walk you through the steps for making over your money story and creating such a powerful new story that you create actually a new identity for yourselves around money. Would you all be interested? Would you all be interested in something like that? A money story makeover masterclass. Would you like that? Would you like that? Paulette says, yes, I'm in. All right. I see a couple yeses, but the more yeses I get, the more I go back to the team and I'm like, let's do it. Let's make this happen. So it's we're just gonna do a master class, probably an hour and a half. But I want to know if it's something that you would all be interested in. All right. I think I have enough yeses, but the more I get, the better. So I'm going to go work on that for everyone and get ready to create it for you probably within the next 30 days. So watch out for that. We're going to do some work on our money story. All right, ladies, thank you all. Have a wonderful Monday. Have a wonderful Monday. And remember, implement, 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 implement. You all deserve a magical bank account. Always, always, always increasing. Every dollar that goes out is replenished and increased and returned back to you. Mwah. Bye, everyone.